Hi everybody, it's Mark Shellshear. This is the Mark Art Show coming to you from Galleria de las Islas in Metro Manila, Philippines. And a new week started, and we're going to talk a little bit about selling, about sales, and about the difficulties we face in sales. I was reading this morning about the parable of the sower, and it really struck me how much this is relative to us in what we do is selling art. It's an interesting parable. I'm sure many of you know it. The parable of the sower goes out and starts to sow seed. And the first lot of the seed, some falls on the wayside and the birds come along and take it. And then some falls on stony ground, a little bit of soil, but as it grows, the sun gets up and scorches it and it withers and dies. And some falls among thorns, and as it grows, the thorns choke it and kill it off. And then some falls on really good ground, and the good ground produces a harvest of 100-fold or 60-fold or 30-fold. Now we can relate this to us as artists. Us as artists being out there, sowing our seed, doing what we do as artists. But oftentimes we concentrate on the wrong things. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that. Because whenever I hear people talk about this, they always seem to concentrate on the negative side of it, not on the seriously positive side of this. So the sower comes out. You're very important. So you're going to have a show. You've got a show, or you're going to be in a, say, an art fair, and you've got your tent up and all your work's out there. And you're going to deal with really 4 sets of people. You're going to deal with the one who comes along and is like the seed that falls on the wayside. And they walk in and they smile, they're happy, they look at your work, and they just turn and walk off. It's kind of, for a second it's there, and then the thought is stolen from them, and they're no longer concentrating, and they walk away. And you know, we've got to just ignore that. That's just the way life goes. And then we've got the next one, which is falls on the stony ground. And this is the buyer who comes along and loves the work, they're looking at it, and then they kind of think, you know, well, I'll think about it. And then as they go, they never think about it ever again, and they never come back. I always work on the principle in my business that if somebody says they're going away to think about it, they're going away to forget it. So I always work on that principle. And then the last one, you have that the buyer who comes along and they see the work and they really love the work and they talk to you and they are inspired, and you're feeling inspired and excited that you could have a sale there. And then as the sale goes along, they begin to talk about, well, it's very expensive, and you know, oh, it's a lot of money. I don't really want to pay that much money. And all of a sudden you see this sale starting to get choked. And then they come out and make that big statement that we all fear so much, and that is, can you give me a discount? You know, it's very expensive. And you know at this point that you have 2 choices. You can either say no and the sale's finished, or you can say yes and you've lost ground and you're the loser here. This is the person who gets choked by the thorns. They can see the value in the art, but they ask for a discount. Now, nobody ever asks for a discount for something that they don't see value in. They can see the value, but they're just not prepared to pay the money. So they get choked by the thorns, and then they stop. And if they're in my gallery and they say they want a discount, I say, no, sorry. And that's the end of that, and then they walk off. The sale is finished. Okay, now, the most important person in this parable is not the 3 groups of people I just spoke to. The most important person in this parable is the sower, the artist. She comes along. She has great art. She has good seed. She goes in, she puts all her work up, and she sees this. Now, when she's showing her work, she's going to have to deal with the 4 types of people. The one who comes along and just looks and then walks off. The one who comes along and is going to think about it. And the one who comes along and wants to buy, but wants discounts and other things thrown in. Those 3 people are not to be considered. You see, if you sit down and start to wonder why is it like that, if you sit there and think, you know, why do they come in and they look and they seem to like it and then they just walk away? Why is this happening to me? If you start to question these things, if you start to get into the why is this happening thought, you are going to destroy you. If you sit there and you think, well, this person came in and they said they loved my paintings, they really wanted it, and they said they'd go away and think about, why didn't they come back? What's wrong with me? Why is it that people look at my work and they just don't buy it and they walk away and they don't, I don't know, they just don't come back? What's wrong with me? You see the problem here? As soon as we start to ask why, we start to have to blame somebody. We don't blame them, we blame ourselves. And same with the last guy, you know, who comes up to you and the artist says to him, she's not prepared to discount, that this is her work and it's value at this price and it's beautiful things. And the guy comes out and says, yeah, but he wants to discount. And then because the discount doesn't take place, there's a separation, he walks off, then they come there, oh, why did I do that? Why did I just give him the discount? Why did I lose a sale? Why am I doing this to you? This is what happens. We get to this place where we question it. And the truth is, ignore it. It's part of life. You can't sort that out. You can't answer that question. Why did that person walk away? I don't know. That's what they do. They're the walking away people. Why did that person say they would come back and think about it, but they never did? I've got no idea. I just know they're the people who go away and think about it and never come back. And why did that last person, you know, they wanted it. They really wanted my painting and but they needed a discount. I should have given the discount. I've lost the sale now because I didn't discount. No, you haven't lost a sale. You never had a sale. You were about to discount your work and discount yourself. And you've got to ignore that person. You can't ask, why are they like that? You've just got to say, that's interesting. They're the people who always ask for discounts and never buy. You see, you've got to not blame yourself. And this is where artists crash all the time, because they say it's my fault. And it can't ever be your fault, because you can't be responsible for what somebody else thinks, does, says. You can't. You can only be responsible for you. So if you've got good seed like the sower, and you've got beautiful artwork, you've got to forget about the falls on the wayside and the birds get it. And you've got to forget about the stuff that gets burnt by the sun. And you've got to forget about the one that ends up in the thorns. That's none of your business. That's nothing to do with you. You concentrate on the ones who buy the work and turn them from strangers into collectors, into friends. Some will buy 100 pieces, some will buy 60 pieces, and some will buy 30 pieces. They're the ones you concentrate on. Because if you concentrate on the first 3, you're going to get depressed, you're going to get disgruntled, you're going to get disheartened, you're going to become fearful and worry, and rejection will take over. But if you only concentrate on the ones who buy, you will be encouraged. You'll grow, and you will have self-confidence, and you will believe in yourself and what you're doing, and you will be stronger. You see, the wise sower only worries about the good soil. Doesn't worry about the rest, because you can't change the rest. Those people who walk away, that's what they do. And those people who are going to think about it, that's what they do. And the people who want discounts, that's what they do. You can't be responsible for that. They are themselves. And you don't need to ask why, because there's no answer to it. The answer to it will only get the thief and that negative voice inside your head working overtime. So what you've got to say is, that's what they do. I'm concentrating on the people who buy my work. And I want to turn them from a 1 painting into 100 paintings. I want to turn them into 1 painting into 60 paintings. I want to turn them from 1 painting into 30 paintings. So now I have to offer them my after-sales service. And I have to go and care for the good ground. And we'll talk more about that in the days ahead. I hope that helps a little bit, gets you understanding. My friends, stop thinking about why it doesn't work, and concentrate on the ones that it does work. Even if it's only 1, that's magic in itself. 1 can turn into 2, can turn into 3, into 6, into 12, 24. It can start to multiply. when you only concentrate on the good soil. Forget about the other soil. Okay, we're going to talk more about this in the days ahead because I think there's a lot more in here for us as artists because you've got good seed to sow. Okay, my friends, you have a fabulous day. It's Monday here. I look forward to the day when I come and visit you in your studio and I ask you to reach out and touch people. There's hurting people out there. Hey, keep smiling, keep having a great day, keep painting and concentrate on the good soil and you will prosper. Have a wonderful day. Ciao.